Félicitations, Niger. Congratulations, Niger. August 3rd, 2020 marked the 60th anniversary of Niger's independence from colonial France. Congratulations to all the Nigerians around the world, wherever you may find yourself, especially those back home in Niger. So in honor of the 60th anniversary of Niger's independence, I'm going to talk a little bit today about Niger, about its history, a little bit about what's going on so people become a little bit more familiar with the country of Niger. Well, as I mentioned, Niger earned its independence on the 3rd of August, 1960. So 60 years ago. Amazing, folks. It's been that long. Hard to believe. Well, Niger today, or at least in 2017, was a country of at least 22 million people with a gross domestic product of just under 10 billion at $9.9 billion per year. Now, Niger's economy is focused on subsistence crops, livestock, and also large uranium reserves, which have been of great strategic interest for actors outside the continent. Agriculture contributes about 41% of gross domestic product, but it accounts for the livelihoods of over 8 out of 10 people. So 80% of the population relies on agriculture for its living, even though it's just 41% of the gross domestic product. Now, there are some real challenges in Niger, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to candy coat this, but the Human Development Index for Niger is 0.377, or extremely low, ranking at 189th, so the lowest ranked country in the world. I used to live there, and I can attest development is quite low in Niger. Now, this is the result of a lot of factors, such as food insecurity. There's very little industry there. Massive population growth, in part a consequence of cultural norms, which favor large families and women in different groups expecting to have large number of children. When I worked at the American Embassy in Niamey, my driver one day told me that he was one of 43 children by his father who had multiple wives. 43 children. Can you imagine? When I was a small youth, the population of Niger was something like 4.5 million people, and today it's 22 million. Well, no wonder when people are having 43 children. That's insane. And there are few prospects for people outside of farming, subsistence farming, or herding. So these things all contribute to the low development level of Niger. Now, the country, Niamey, the capital, actually has plans to exploit reserves of oil, coal, and gold. But the problem, of course, is that for petroleum, at least, is the price of petroleum has been all over the place, and it's difficult to get out of Niger, so it's not profitable unless the price is high. The name itself, Niger, comes from the Niger River, which flows through the country and down into Nigeria and eventually finds its way into the Niger Delta, emptying into the Atlantic. Much of the country is located in the Sahel Belt, that semi-arid region which runs from the west coast of Africa all the way across to the east coast of Africa, a narrow band of semi-arid scrubland and harsh climate. The country of Niger today has been inhabited for a very long time. In fact, archaeologists have found stone tools dating back 280,000 years ago in the northern Agadez region in the eastern side of Niger. The area over time has been part of various African states over the course of the past millennium, including the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire, and the Kanem-Borno Empire. Some of the country was later incorporated into the Hausa states beginning in the 15th century and running up until the 19th century. But at the turn of the 20th century, modern Niger fell under French control, colonial rule that lasted until independence in 1960. Since 1960, unfortunately, Niger has had a tortured history as an independent nation with numerous coups d'etat. The country is now in its 7th republic since independence. Can you imagine that? 60 years, 7 republics. The 7th republic began in 2010 with the return of civilian rule, and has now outlasted the 6th Republic, which lasted from 2009 to 2010, and its predecessor, the 5th Republic, which lasted from 1999 to 2009. Today, the country struggles with frequent droughts, insurgencies, widespread poverty, and occasional rebellions from its own population groups, such as the Tuareg. Some of the domestic terrorist groups operating in Niger include the Islamic State of Iraq and Asham networks in Greater Sahara, or the ISGS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Asham, or ISIS, West Africa, and a number of foreign terrorist groups, including Al-Mulatathnum Battalion, the Al-Qaeda-affiliated Jama al-Nusrat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, or JNIM, and of course, famously, Boko Haram, all operating inside of Niger. On the occasion of the 60th anniversary of Niger's independence, the celebration for it, the U.S. Secretary of State had the following to say to Nigerians. On behalf of the United States government and the American people, I send my congratulations to the government of Niger and to all Nigerians on the 60th anniversary of your independence. The United States and Niger have stood together in partnership since August 3, 1960, when our first chargé d'affaires presented his credentials to President Hamani Diori. Niamey's John F. Kennedy Bridge, completed 50 years ago, remains a lasting symbol of our friendship, even as our new United States Embassy compound confirms our commitment to the next 60 years of our vibrant relationship and beyond. We look forward to continuing to work hand in hand to promote democratic values, security, and prosperity for both our countries. As I mentioned, I was once stationed and lived in Niger, in Niamey, and I've been on that bridge. It's impressive. It's still there till today in good state of repair, crossing the Niger River. And so people get from one side of town to the other. And another thing about Niger that many people pay attention to these days is U.S. military presence. Near Agadez, there is a Nigerian air base built for drones, constructed by the U.S. Air Force under U.S. Air Force's Africa and under the U.S. Africa Command, to help provide support in the conflict against the groups operating in the area, insurgents and terrorists operating in the Sahel region, affecting security throughout the region. So U.S. presence is located there. And the Nigerians have been folks that have been easy to work with. They're very proud, very professional, hardworking people, and really enjoyed my experience in Niger. In fact, one of my classmates from the L'École d'État-Major, the staff college in Tunisia, was from Niger, and we've remained lifelong friends ever since then. He eventually rose to become the chief of the gendarmerie, if I'm not mistaken. It's quite an interesting place, but desperately poor, massively underdeveloped, and suffers a number of challenges, as I mentioned. But nonetheless, 60 years of independence. Let's hope the next 60 years lead to better development for all Nigerians and more stable governance as we go forward, with Niger now in its 7th republic. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you found this video informative and interesting. And perhaps you learned a little something new about Niger that you didn't know. And I ask you, if you're not a subscriber, consider becoming a subscriber to Chris White Africa by smashing that subscription button right down there. And be sure to toggle the bell icon so you get notified of all updates of future videos, my live streams, and my special features. If you have a comment, please feel free to leave it. I try to look at all comments if possible and respond where appropriate. And finally, I ask that you smash the like button, because likes drive viewership. I thank you for your time, for your patronage, and your consideration, and I wish you a pleasant day.